Hey everyone, Mike McClelland's Pro, and man, I'm here with the Wired to Fish guys. Been out on some of these lakes in Minnesota that are just absolutely incredible lakes, especially when you start talking frog fishing. And when you come up here in this part of the world, or really anywhere that you've got a lot of vegetation, a lot of submerged and emergent vegetation, laydowns, overhanging trees, I mean, you've got to start thinking frog fishing. And to me, I mean, I've always said if I could catch a bass on any bait in the world, number one would probably be a buzz bait. But frog fishing in a lot of ways is really similar to a buzz bait in this day and age, especially with the addition of the new Spro Flappin Frog. I mean, this Flappin Frog 65 essentially is just a soft plastic weedless buzz bait. I mean, the purr that this bait gives off, the places that you can throw it, it's just one of those baits that you can cover a ton of water, throw it in pretty much any situation. You can skip it under trees, skip it under boat docks. I mean, basically the places you can throw this bait is endless. It's such a soft, pliable bait that catching them is really simple. If they're eating the bait at all, you're gonna catch them. I mean, they're gonna inhale it, it collapses, you're gonna hook them good, and it's just an all-around good bait. When it comes to, me choosing colors of the essentials, I mean, you can see I've got a whole bag full of them. I've got every color we offer. But in all honesty, myself, when it comes to colors, I want something shad patterned. I'm gonna have some white baits, I'm gonna have some black baits, I'm gonna have some green baits, and I'm gonna have some brown baits. And I don't think you have to go real crazy with color, but just give yourself the options to be able to match the forage base of what the fish are probably feeding on. If they're feeding on shad, if they're feeding on, any type of, minnows, things like that, I really believe that the whites and the shad-coloreds are the way to go. If they're feeding on brim, yellow perch, things like that, that's when I think the greens and the oranges and things like that. And I mean, there's times that they're eating frogs. I mean, bass do eat real frogs. But when you get to the nuts and bolts of what all you've got here, I mean, the Bronzeye 65, I think, really revolutionized the whole aspect of frog fishing. I mean, the bodies of this frog were so much softer than anything else that we had ever dealt with. We've got these super sticky, sharp gamakatsu hooks in them now. Froggin has changed over the years, and the whole lineup of frogs. I mean, you've got the Bronzeye Junior, you've got the original Bronzeye 65. There's a lot of things taken into consideration, but the other thing is now with the addition of the new Bronzeye Blade, I believe this is the most recent addition to that line. We've got a frog now that really allows you to do a lot of different things. I mean, I said something earlier about, when you're trying to match the hatch or the forage that the bass are feeding on. When you've got a strong shad spawn going on around vegetation, this new Bronzeye Blade, in my opinion, the white one, is one of the most phenomenal baits to get that done. I mean, there's so many baits that you can't throw into vegetation when the shad are up there spawning, but this Bronzeye Blade bait definitely fixes that. The big thing about the sizes, some of it is just, maybe the type of fisherman you are. If you're a pond fisherman, if you're fishing smaller bodies of water, creeks that don't have, really good sized fish, that may be when you want to consider the junior. But in all honesty, a lot of times it's more about matching the forage. If there is really small brim, or you're seeing, a hatch of actual frogs, and there's a lot of little frogs dancing around, I mean, that's when you want to throw the junior. The 65 day in, day out is probably the go-to. But when you're fishing that thicker vegetation, this frog with the blades actually adds a little bit of weight. This frog actually allows you to, throw this into some thicker stuff, especially standing, reeds and kissimmee grass, things like that. The blades on this frog actually create enough weight that it'll hold the frog down on the water as you're winding that through. And you can pop this frog, you can walk it, or you can just steady retrieve it. The blades work just like a spinnerbait blade. They spin all the way in. So then you've got the popper. As far as the frog to walk, honest to goodness, I really feel like the popping frog walks easier than the actual original Bronzeye. And the cool thing about the popping frogs is it doesn't matter if you're a creek fisherman that's throwing your frog on, 15, 18 pound braided line on a spinning rod. We've got this new Pop 40. You've got a Pop 50, you've got a 60 and a 70. If you're looking to, match a larger hatch of some kind, the 70 is probably the way to go. But Everybody considers the popper, you know, that chip, 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 pop, pop kind of a deal. But honest to goodness, the Poppin' Frog really will probably walk for you about as easily as any of the frogs you can throw. Like I said, I try to keep it pretty simple. I don't want anybody to think I'm claiming to be a frog expert, but when it comes to having fun, covering some water, catching fish, and enjoying what I'm doing, there's nothing better than getting it done with a Spro Frog.